I'm the conservancy manager here for Kwenia.
My name is Lemen Pad from Mara. I'm working under Kenya Birds of Prey Trust in charge of the projects of Mara ecosystem, especially for raptor conservation.
My name is Silole Tumaina. I work as a raptor guardian at Kwenia Vulture Sanctuary.
My name is Gibson Miklan. I'm doing as a raptor guardian at Kwenia Vulture Sanctuary.
It's a new project in 2 years operating, but it's been a project that has been not official for a long time, probably 20 years. The flagship species that we're trying to conserve here is the vultures, the Rupells, or raptors to be general.
So in my school I've taken courses of wildlife management, but majorly I did my zoology, and I have an interest in birds, which is a bit of an anthology course, which I also did in my university. Then I joined the project, being a volunteer for almost 3 years, meeting with friends from 2015-2016. That's when I'm doing my undergraduate. And then we end up starting a long-term project by 2019. And then we are back to the field from 2020 until now, monitoring nests in Mara.
I was first introduced to this raptor conservation approach by Simon Thompson when I was really young. He used to fly his plane along the cliffs, and I was just a herdsboy back then. And at some point he crash landed at the lake, and then I helped him to get to at least go to get a train to go to Nairobi. After that we really became close. Every time he comes around, he could tag me along, introduce me to all the different species, and and let me know what exactly we have here. And then that's when he mentioned that what you guys have here is not anywhere else in Kenya, and it is a critically endangered species. Ever since, there have been those frequent visits from Simon and his students, the likes of Dr. Munir Virani and other avian photographers used to come here and camp and just walk around and learn about vultures and learn about landscape photographies and stuff.
I became an official raptor on September 2022, but there before we were working, a team came up with vultures and we were working with it. I think it was in 2014. So I had a passion of doing it. I didn't know that it can one time it will develop being a career for a job. But finally, I'm here.
The reason why this place is unique and ought to have been conserved 20 years ago is the largest, to host the largest breeding colony of Rupells in Kenya. We got a population of up to 230 birds. Figures fluctuate.
We came to Kwenia to try and help our friend, which is also part of our project here, to develop a concept of a continuity of nest monitoring program. So most of the Rupells, which is like the species that we're having an interest here, are foraging in the Mara, are foraging in Nairobi National Park, and maybe a bit of Athi. So the birds you see here are also the birds that are present in the Mara. So it maybe they can fly here in the morning only in 2 hours already in the Mara, looking for carcasses to feed on, and they come back to nest here or roost in Kwenia. So you can see there is always a connection between the Mara and here, because we have what we call a nesting area and a foraging area. So Kwenia is a nesting area, but Mara is a foraging area.
First of all, we have to do a raptor count. So everybody must be at the cliffs before 7:30. So between 7:30 and 8:30 is when the count happens. Then after that, we created transects for mammal counts, across the conservancy. So after that, we go back to other parts of the conservancy and do the routine observations for mammals. and come back to the office at around 1, 2 to now present the data or feed the data to the system.
For us, it's good, like we are also trying to understand the breeding of the birds that we are studying. So in Kwenia, we are trying to develop a concept where it will be like a systematic or a continuity of data collection to be able to understand the population changes also. And then we will be able to compare from one year to another year in terms of changing of their population. So that's why we are here trying to help the team to be able to develop a way of collecting that data in the future.
Vultures are critically endangered. And the reason is vultures scavenge. They don't kill to feed. They feed on carrions or carcasses and stuff. So by that means that put them to a position where they are more vulnerable to risks such as poisoning. All the poisoned carcasses ends up being fed on by the vultures, and the vultures die. Why? People do not intentionally kill vultures, but they always try to eliminate the hyenas, the lions, or the cheetahs and the leopards. But in the process, the first animal to see a dead carcass or a carcass is the vultures. So when the vultures feed on a poisoned carcass, they all die. The other main threat of these vultures is habitat loss. Slowly, we've seen health being overtaken by other economic activities like the geothermal power, and it just affected the whole ecosystem. The whole population is gone. Now it's less than 20 birds nesting on those cliffs. Here, also had that kind of threat looping in because of the herders going around. You have livestock moving very close to the nesting sites, so the birds slowly move to other places. The only species of wildlife, that can clean a whole park within minutes. That means if you have dead carcasses, if you have carcasses in the Mara or any other protected area, it's only the vultures that can help clean. For instance, these vultures move from Kwenia Cliffs to Masai Mara, and by there it's only 45 minutes flight from here to Mara. The Masai Mara is known for a lot of carrions because of, for example, during the wildebeest migration, it's a very busy movement across the Mara River. So it's estimated that at least 20,000 wildebeest die. So imagine a whole reserve full of 20,000 carcasses. Yeah? So nobody will go to the Mara because of the smells, because of the diseases and all. If you close the Mara and you close Amboseli, for example, and close Nairobi National Park, those three alone contribute to 12% of the country's GDP. So you see the link. If vultures are all killed, the Mara is closed, that's for sure. Because of the stinky smells, tourism will just be out. And if you close Amboseli, the same case. So it comes down from a single vulture to a major 12% of the country's GDP. So
when this project started, it was like 6 months before, sorry. So it started 6 months before. So they wanted to pick a big area, to focus on a big area. Then they just end up deciding that let's start with the few. So the few landowners, that is 6 parcels. They presented the first group 6 parcels. Then after 6 months, they renewed the contract. So after renewing up the contract, the area keep on expanding. Oh, I end up being a raptor to represent my grandfather parcel. Yeah.
Each family that the landowner is part of the conservancy gets one person to be employed. So that's how we ended up getting all these rangers and community liaisons. By landowners, I mean guys from the 2 group ranches, including my land as well. So from our parcel, I'm employed as a conservancy manager from land A. So that's number one. Number two, we get to have this conservation education and awareness going on. Number three, their land is now well protected. There's no, of course, some of the rules that we put is we don't have charcoal burning, trees cutting and stuff like that. And we don't have unnecessary movements or access to the parcels. And we control the grazing as well.
It's beneficial because like where we are now in Kwenia is like a sanctuary. It's like the cliffs are being owned by individual people. And as a trust, we are coming raising money to pay them back because we need to protect the cliffs to have the nesting colony of Rupells in the southern part of Kenya. So the community is coming in because it's their land, and they also need to be able to feel the conservation worth of it, because it's very hard just to tell somebody to protect something that is not feeling the worth of it. So what I believe in, for you to be able to conserve, the conservation has to be worthful to the people. Because yes, we're in the conservation, but also people has to come in.
As far as knowledge gap and knowledge exchange is concerned, basically Kwenia is born of a research project. Kwenia is actually as a result of research. Someone was studying raptors, someone was publishing a paper based on vultures, conservation and foraging ranges. Yeah, from then we've had students come from abroad to extend their studies here and get the knowledge from not only people concerned in data collection here, but also from the community at large, the indigenous knowledge in bird protection and stuff, or birds dealership. But we've not had much involvement or engagement from local universities. So moving forward, now that we have an established institution here, we really encourage that exchange of knowledge, especially for practical observations and for practical counts. I mean, knowledge can only make sense if theory is proven, if an hypothesis is proven otherwise. So we are open for any engagement from any academic institution. And by that I mean not only high-level academic institutions, we also encourage even as low as a primary school kids to come here at that early age to come and learn about birds, to appreciate the concept of conservation at that early age.
These wildlife are like in our land, and I think it will be like we're the champion to protect rather than waiting for somebody else to come. So for me, I feel like what we are really doing is like we are doing for ourselves. It's like the project that we're owning. So us here coming here counting vultures is like, this is our thing. So it's like this is what we like to do.
Nataka kuambia kwamba walinde wanyama, walinde msitu, sababu is a very conducive and is a very favorable environment kwa wanyama. Sababu hii mambo na conservation is not only haita ni benefit mimi peke yangu, the whole community can benefit from conservation.
People or conservationists or anybody else, conservation is really in a critical condition in which we all need to come up to be able to protect the wildlife we have at our hands. For example, it will be like so sad to talk about empty sky in 10 or in 20 years to come, where you don't see any bird flying high or any other wildlife roaming in our land. So I think we all need to come up, gang up multidisciplinary approach to be able to protect any wildlife we are remaining in our own landscape, because we need it.